this video is going to cover the topic of our 3, 4 and 5-way 4K HDMI selectors, and basically it's compatible with SkyQ. So it's available with free delivery directly from freetv.ie. So there's a couple of variations of this, but it's the same basic thing right across the range. So I said I just shoot it as a single thing. Now, the key thing to say here is we deliberately tested this product to make sure that it'll work with a SkyQ box. And the importance of that is that people might say, well, if something's 4K, it's going to work with my SkyQ 4K box. But that's not at all true, for 2 reasons. It's not just the 4K element, plus an awful lot of brands will come along and stamp stuff saying it's 4K, but it's not 4K at all, and until you hit the SkyQ things. And interesting, we'll say Virgin Media and things like that, they're increasingly, their set-top boxes are moving over to the same standard in terms of what they have. So there's 2 key things you need to know. It needs to be it needs to be the HD version 2.0, and also it needs to be HDCP 2.2, okay? And without those 2 things, it will not work with your SkyQ box, or indeed your Virgin Media box, most likely. So, so if we come along and we look at this particular unit here, we'll see immediately on it, it's 2.0, and I know from the side of the box that it's 2.2 as well in terms of the HDCP version. So 2.2 is pure hardware, and the HDCP is more of a firmware version that's on it there, because I know from past experience it's actually changeable depending on firmware upgrades. So what I'm going to do at this point here is I'm going to come along and plug this in. Now what I'm going to say here is, why would you use a HDMI selector? Well, you have a situation here where we'll say you have a DVR, a combo box, a Sky box, and a free-to-air box. You want them all connected permanently to a television here. And what you want to do is you want to be able to come along and select it. And you can select in one of 2 ways. You can use this remote control, which is fine in theory, but the range on it's very, very short. So generally we'll say you're just better off to use the select button on the front. So there's an on-off switch here, and on this particular one, because it's a 5-way, I'm demonstrating this on, there's 5 lights on it, and only the ones with a HDMI connection on the back will light up. And on the back of it here, there's 5 inputs and only 1 output with an external power unit here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab the external power unit, power it up initially, so that's great. Next we're going to come along here, we're going to grab this one here, and there is an output on it, and I have a HDMI lead running over to this television here. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the 2 HDMI leads here, and I'll say I'll grab and put one into HDMI input 1, and I'll put the other one into HDMI input 4. Okay. And now what we've done is coming along here, and we need to come along and we need to select. So if I look at the front of the box here, so we need to make sure that these units are turned on, which they are. And now what we need to do is make sure that we're on the HDMI output on it. So this unit, of course, is turned on at this point. So that's one of the key things that we got here. So the demonstration won't work too well without that. So we'll see the power on the front here, and we're looking here, and we can see that we've selected HDMI input 1. It's lit up here. Now if I hit the select button here, well, what's going to happen? It's going to go to 2, there's no input on it. It's go to 3, there's no input on it. We go to 4, there should be an input on this, because I know I have this on HDMI input on the back here. So now we come along and we have it on this particular unit here. So we can come along and we have the thing, so we can flick back over. So we have the various ones, and if you can imagine, we can expand this out to 5 separate units on it. So it's all hardwired in. You just come to the unit, you flip it over, or in theory you could use this little plastic slip on the back of this one here. So these units here are really good in terms of the high-end, high-spec on it. The price point on them is good, and it'll cover you for a full range here. So people are often going with this. They're more expensive than the other ones. We have the standard ones there that don't support the SkyQ, don't have the HD 2.0 or 2.2 for the HDCP. But the thing about it is that it's just, we're not making an offering there. But the key point, generally what we're trying to do with the splitters and also selectors on freetv.ie is, if it says just selector, that's fine. It may or may not be 4K, but it will not work with SkyQ. And if it says 4K, it will work with SkyQ. So there are the 2 basic classifications we have.